Mathieu van der Poel says, I intend to finish the Giro d'Italia and the Tour de France this year. Now, we said him doing MSR, Milano-San Remo, was not too bad. It seemed to be ahead of everyone's schedule and a last-minute decision. But ultimately, it was 7 hours on the bike, not much climbing, which he'd been doing in training anyway, allegedly pain-free, rehabbing his back injury. Now he's wanting to do back-to-back Grand Tours, presumably the cobbled classics, and finish them. He said, I want to finish them. Surely now there's some alarm bells for you, Benji.
I hope they know what they're doing. That's how I see this, because obviously doing the Giro Tour as a combo is already hard, but the classics before that and so forth, also pretty difficult to combine all that. And yeah, it's a lot when coming back. And it reminds me a bit of the Nemco thing straight to the Giro. But on the other hand, I've got the feeling that Van der Poel took less rushed way approach into the sport again. So I don't know. Are you afraid that it's going to be too much?
Yes, I'm very concerned that it's too much. He's done one race and they're like back-to-back Grand Tours. Who else is doing cobbles plus back-to-back Grand Tours, Benji?
Vincenzo Nibali.
Okay, that yeah, like that's a heavy load, and he's the leader at those races. They just signed him to an extension, I think, till the end of 2025. I obviously am not his doctor. I don't know what their doctors have said, etc. I don't know whether he's in pain, pain-free or not. My gut feeling is that this is a bad idea from that perspective.
I want to mention that Dirk Hedlo and also the back doctor of the team were surprised that he's already doing so well, that it's all gone so well so far, and that yeah, it's gone so well in Milano-San Remo as well. Now, I think when it comes to doing the Giro Tour, I do want to mention that we did our Giro preview a few months ago, and while Van der Poel was not on the start list, I think you compared every single hill stage to Van der Poel could win this. He should do the Giro. Are you happy with that?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Wow. I'm pretty sure I said every puncher should do the Giro, and and then if one of them takes pink on the first stage, I look smart. But you're right. Like the first stage is an uphill drag finish. It's absolutely perfect for Van der Poel. It's if he can do what he did on Britannia, Murder Britannia,
Yeah.
stage 2 of the tour, ahead of the most stacked puncher field, ahead in Alaphilippe's face on Tour Sense, then the Giro should be light work for your boy. And he should be the heavy favourite, with now Pidcock out of the Giro, going to the Tour apparently, and who's looked a bit who looked unwell at Milano-San Remo. Van der Poel immediately becomes Malliorosa favourite. How long he can keep that for? I think a while. I can't remember when the first mountain stage is. Etna, 5 or 6?
Yeah, 4 apparently. After the rest day, they go to Etna.
Imagine he keeps it after Etna. Like I wouldn't. Etna was slow in 2020. I think it's a different side now. But yeah, do you think he should be out and out favourite for stage 1?
I think he should be out and out favourite for the first stage. I haven't seen today's stage of Copia Bartali personally yet, so I can't tell you if that was an uphill finish and whether he won that and so forth. So I'd have to take a look at that, take a look at Copia Bartali this week and see if similar finishes arise. But on paper, a peak Van der Poel or a near peak Van der Poel should be a favorite on a stage like that. And we mentioned lots of people. We mentioned Pidcock when he was still doing it. And on paper, that should fit as well now for Van der Poel. Stage 8 is also pretty similar. Reminds me of the Muro stage we had in Tirreno last year. I think it's less steep, the climbs that are in that stage, but it's got a flat finish after some hills. He could also do something on those hills, try and get away there. So there's certainly stages in the Giro that fit this man. I'm just a bit scared with Giro Tour Double, like you mentioned, after having that injury. Giro Tour Double is the most difficult of the doubles when it comes to Grand Tours, based on the experience of riders. At least they say so. That's why you don't often see GC riders trying to aim for the Giro Tour Double, except if they're Italian. So Vincenzo Nibali does that because he wants to do the Giro and also needs to ride the Tour de France. But you likely won't see that easily Pogacar do it. That's why he's doing the Tour alone. Or the first time he does a double will likely be the Tour Vuelta or the Giro Vuelta, because that's an easier double to do, because Giro Vuelta is far from each other and Tour Vuelta is further from each other than the Giro Tour are from each other. And the Giro is usually a harder race, I'd say, right?
Yeah. Giro can be cold, just a harder race than the Vuelta. I mean, the Vuelta to win GC, high level last year, but yeah, do they still send Merlier to the Giro? I'm not sure what their indicative start list was. I thought Philipsen to Tour. I think Merlier and Mathieu van der Poel, it's a compatible combination. We know
Yeah,
that MVP doesn't go for bunch sprints, doesn't really like it to get mixed up, which is understandable. And he has Worlds as well in September. Geez, it's a big year. It's like, imagine, Benji, when Bernal, remember 2020, Bernal back issued 2020 Tour de France,
yeah,
Colombier. Imagine if he's like, I'm doing Giro Tour double plus Ardennes leadership.
yeah,
We'd be like, is that a good idea? We would
yeah,
have.
and it's
These guys are going to have a long career. I worry. That's all.
Yeah, and it's also like you say, the history of back pains in the peloton the last few years, including Pinot as well. It hasn't had a moment where there's a rider that had serious back pain and then suddenly popped up and did so many great races after each other. So I'm always a bit worried, but let's hope he's the one that actually makes it through without too much trouble and is able to do it without any back pain, and that we can see the best Van der Poel at both races.
Well, I'm happy personally because the Giro start list was a little light, particularly with Pidcock now out, and he certainly adds a lot of intrigue. Big name.